What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. This is going to be an interesting little video. Very, very subjective. Very subjective video. I have to start off by saying that. In this video, we're going to be talking about pocket guns. I know, done a couple videos talking about them. Done a couple of pocket gun reviews. Done videos talking about pocket carry itself. But one thing I haven't gotten to touch on too much is really the triggers of pocket guns. I've talked about them a little bit, but more so, do you need to have a heavy trigger for your pocket gun is, I guess, the main topic of this video. It's a good way to phrase it. And it's very subjective. It depends on what gun you're dealing with, what, holster you're dealing with, what kind of pants you wear even. It really is all based on you. Right? So some people might be wondering, hey, well, the original Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, good little pocket gun, but the trigger's so heavy, it's kind of ridiculous. The original Ruger LCP, okay, little pocket gun, but a very long trigger. And it's not heavy, but it is very long, which is kind of weird because if you're not going to go for a heavy trigger for a pocket gun, why make it that far? Whatever. I'm getting off topic here, But as you see with more modern pocket guns, right? For example, the Bodyguard 2.0, the Ruger LCP Max, you are seeing much lighter triggers with, shorter resets, shorter pulls. Why is that? What is the exact reason for that? Is that really safe for pocket carry? We're going to talk about a couple of those things, right? So, as I mentioned before, one of the things that really determine the safety of your pocket gun for pocket carry is the kind of holster you're using. So, if you're using something like the original Smith & Wesson Bodyguard or the original Ruger LCP, right? A standard pocket holster, you should probably do you just fine. Majority of people think, oh, well, you need to get this, very big Kydex holster for it, and you really don't. I've been using the pocket holster that came with the Ruger LCP. Let me put that for reference, guys. When you're dealing with a pocket gun that has a very long trigger pull or a very heavy trigger pull, you really don't need a Kydex holster because as long as you're not putting other things in that pocket, you really don't have to worry about anything happening. Keep in mind, I did a job where I consistently had to carry things. So it's not like I'm talking about this, as somebody who just sat in a chair all day. I literally did a job where I did nothing but carry things. I moved houses with a gun in my pocket, like several times actually. I moved out of an apartment into a house, moved out of that house, moved into another house, and carried both guns with me each time. So pocket carry isn't really an issue. Doing anything with, having a basic, non-Kydex pocket holster really isn't going to be that big of an issue if you're going for a pocket gun with a very long trigger pull or a very heavy one. However, if you're looking for a more modern pocket gun with a lighter trigger pull, not as long of a trigger pull, better reset, you're probably going to want a Kydex holster. And there's a couple of reasons for it because in the end, some people could argue, oh, well, why wouldn't you say, the same thing about the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard original, right? Why wouldn't you get a Kydex one for that? Safety. And yeah, I hear you there. However, let's compare the original Bodyguard semi-auto versus the Bodyguard 2.0. And let's truly sit here and say to ourselves, if anything was to get caught in either of the trigger guards of these guns, which gun do we really think the trigger is going to be easiest pulled with? It's probably going to be the Bodyguard 2.0, which is why I recommend if you're dealing with pocket guns like that, you're carrying those around, get a Kydex holster. Get something that's actually going to be made for your gun, not something that's going to, over time wear down or, with leather in this case, heat will kind of mold it to your gun. You really don't want to deal with that if you're dealing with a more modern pocket gun that has a better trigger. And yes, I can say better trigger. I pretty much tested the trigger on all the main pocket guns. Ruger LCP, the LCP2, the LCP Max, Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, the Bodyguard 2.0. And I can say that, yeah, if you're going to get a pocket gun with a better trigger, Like, for example, the Bodyguard 2.0 has a great trigger. The LCP Max, okay-ish trigger, definitely a lot better than the first two, in my opinion. But regardless, if you're going to do that, you need to get a Kydex holster for it. And, you know, some people might be wondering, hey, why didn't you talk about this when you did a video talking about the importance of a good holster years ago? The reason why I actually didn't talk about this is because of the fact that a majority of people, while they like the idea of pocket carry, they really like the idea of having a larger gun than a gun that can fit in the palm of your hand. So yeah, when I made that video, you know, we weren't really dealing with too many more modern pocket guns with better triggers. We only had a couple of them on the market as well. So there's a couple of different reasons. But I can say though that right now, with us seeing not really a surge in, you know, newer pocket guns, but at least a surge in more modern and better pocket guns, make sure you're not using a cloth or leather holster. I think that's the best way to put it, you know, just talk about it. I mean, there are very good Kydex holsters that, after taking a great look at them, you know, watching a lot of reviews on them, they're really not anywhere near as bad as you've seen in the past with other pocket holsters. And that's something I can actually say is pretty neat. You know what I mean? Along with, you know, firearm technology expanding for pocket guns, so did the holster technology. And that's something that we can all agree is very important as well. But I do think that about wraps it up for this video. I knew this video wasn't going to be very long, but in the end, do you need a heavy trigger, you know, for your pocket gun? Do you need a long trigger pull for your pocket gun? No, not really. I mean, if you're going to have that, then, you know, sure, have that. That's on you. But you can get pocket guns that have better triggers. You can get reliable holsters for them, so that way you're not worried about a negligent discharge. I mean, in the end, you don't have to get a pocket gun that has a heavy trigger or a long trigger. I mean, in the end, you just have to worry about what kind of clothes you're wearing, what holster you have for it. There are so many variables that if you're worrying only about just the length of the trigger pull or the weight of the trigger pull, then yeah, you're not really going to be getting too much else out of it. You see what I mean? But I think that about wraps up for this video. I can tell I'm kind of going in circles here when I don't need to. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And whether or not you agree with me, I mean, actually, you know what? I want to know why or why not you would agree with me. If you disagree with me and you think that, yes, all pocket guns really need to have heavier or longer trigger pulls, go ahead and comment down below why or why not, especially considering the advancement in holster technology we have. For example, much more comfortable Kydex pocket holsters. But go ahead and comment down below why or why not. Make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.